so like I guess
All
now
right.
thinking about it, it's no wonder Metal Gear Rising is probably my favorite Metal Gear game. I say Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. All right. So we are live now.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah.
So here we are now. We're at the end of the road. No, we're at the beginning of the road. Sorry.
What are we gonna do next? We gotta stop Umbrella. Damn. I should stream that one of these days.
Wait, what is it?
Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
I've got the like classic version of the game, the 1998 version on my PC, so I could totally stream it.
So, did you like the remasters?
I liked the remake of 2.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 remake is the best survival horror game of all time, so I'm not gonna talk trash on that. Remake 3, you may as well have just released Resident Evil 6.5 and it done the same thing.
I haven't gotten into the Resident Evil games, but I've been meaning to, and a lot of people have been asking me to, but I just haven't yet.
Oh shoot, I forgot to mute the TV. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, you should probably start with, like, 2 remake.
Yeah, okay. Wait, don't start with 1?
I mean, you can, look, I mean, I'll be the first one to jump on that game and play it, like, just without a question, right? I have, like, no issues with that game. But for a beginner, the game's really not beginner friendly. Because it expected you to have played the original version, and it also... things will come out of nowhere and just ruin your entire session.
Oh no.
And 2 Remake doesn't really have that.
That's good.
Where am I going? Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Doesn't matter where you're going, only how you're gonna get there.
Well, it does matter where I'm going because I just spawned in the middle of a quest, which I forgot I left on the middle of a quest. Oh, man.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, before that, I remember we were talking about like Beyblade or Yu-Gi-Oh, which one is more strange? Like card games that can send you to hell, or spinning tops that are powered
Well, I mean,
by spirit animals.
the card game doesn't send you to hell, but you can send the cards to hell.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, like, it depends on who you're playing, really, because you can battle like average everyday people, and it's just a fun game. But then you can battle people like
You can battle Sato Kaiba, who built a holographic machine just to battle people with real monsters.
Exactly. That's the thing. Kaiba has enough money to basically cure cancer if he wanted to. And
Sato Kaiba is the Gary Oak of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's like, why did you do this? Because I'm Gary fucking Oak. Oh, man.
Have you seen that Spider-Man like comic panel where it's like it's a pterodactyl man talking to Spider-Man? Spider-Man's like, you were able to create technology that turns you into a dinosaur? Dude, you could cure cancer, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to be a dinosaur.
Oh shoot. It's funny because it's true.
It is. At least he has his goals straight. At least
Yeah.
he has his priorities straight.
He knows what he wants to do.
He is a man. What's the word?
Maniac?
Yeah, let's go with that.
He's a manosaur.
He's a manosaur. If you hear any crinkling in the background, that is me eating my nerds.
You're eating whale dicks?
No. Maybe? Wait, hold on. Is that what nerds are made out of?
That's what the word nerd means.
Oh. Hold on. Hold on. I need to fact check this.
Or no, I'm thinking dork.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
I am so glad that his carnage missed me. that would have been immediate death if it hit me.
Dang. You just gotta dodge!
I need an adult. I am an. Don't even say it, Dad.
No, you are not. Oh my gosh, we're allowed to make references on this channel, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure a good portion of our commentary is us going to be referencing, like, famous pop culture things that we know.
It's like all that we ever talk about.
Basically. Hello, audience members who are joining us. Please expect quotes from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Sword Art Online Abridged,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, Hot Wheels Acceleracers. Oh my gosh. You've got the groove tone. Okay, but real talk, I just gotta acknowledge that scene where Nolo is like, you know, he's the last driver standing, even though I think, like, Taro was, like, okay, like, he was way behind, but I don't think he had gotten caught yet. When Nolo was the last one standing in the swamp realm, and, like, he, like, has that flashback to his brother, and then the music starts playing, it's just, oh my gosh, that was the most...
Those movies are really dramatic for what they are.
They are, but they're so good. They
Yeah.
back it up. Like, those movies had no right to be as good as they were, and yet they were. And they're extremely dark.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember, like...
One of the first scenes is his brother dying.
Yes! Like, oh my gosh, and it's not even censored. It is full on. His car
Just
blows
full
up
on
and
and blows up, yeah.
And granted, they never say, like, oh, you... Actually, no, I think at one point he said, like, you... What's his name? Torque? I think it's Torque.
Yeah, Torque, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's one time where he says Torque killed my brother, he has to pay or something like that. I could be totally wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it, but...
Yeah.
I don't think they ever outright say it, but it's not like they try at all to hide it. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they, like, try and censor the heck out of it.
Yeah. And I'm still sad that we'll never get the follow-up.
I know. It was supposed to be 6 movies, but then budget cuts or something, and they had to reduce it down to 4.
Yeah. Because the final movie, The Ultimate Race, it just ends with, my brother's still out there.
My brother's still out there. Come on, guys. We got a driver to find. And then Bert's dad is revealed to be the Silencers. The Silencers! We still have no idea what they were doing.
Honestly, I think it's better that we don't know what they were doing or, like, the story behind them. Like, it makes them more interesting, you know? Like,
really does.
like for example, Mass Effect, which I'm playing right here.
Uh-huh.
It it you know, it explains itself. It explains the main villains of the series, the Reapers. Like, it explains them way too much in the third game, and it just removes all of the like strangeness and the creepiness of them, and it just completely kills the vibe. Like, you understand them too much, and so you're able to be like, oh well, they aren't really that scary then. You know, even though they're these super huge death machines that are wiping out all advanced civilization in space and have been doing it for millions of years.
I do think like the only time you should ever like fully explain your big bad guy is when you're about to like essentially kill him off or like eliminate him from the like game movie
Yeah.
series.
Which, I guess, fair enough. That is, you know,
Like,
Mass Effect 3 is the finale. So, fair enough
Yeah.
on that. But, like, I just think it would be better
like,
if...
I'd say if you're going to do it, like you'd want to do it like at the very end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, because there's a balance between like doing Mass Effect where you like over explain all of the mysteries and then doing Lost where you explain like next to none of the mysteries.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a balance and like it's a hard balance to find.
Yeah. I'm doing a Renegade run, but I have to let this guy live, otherwise it screws me over in Mass Effect 3. Oh. That's one thing that sucks, is there's a lot of choices where it's like, it doesn't affect anything in the first two games, but then in the third game, like, you killed the one random civilian in that one building on that one mission. Well, too bad. You can't get enough war assets to get the good ending of the game.
Well, shoot. That's why we Paragon till death, right, Vegeta? You ruined it. You ruined it, and I'm leaving.
Oh, shoot.
So, this is completely random, but I figured I'd bring it up. So I might have told this to you already, but I'm doing like a little test where like, how do I explain it? So if I were to ask people to give me a list of Batman villains, you know, besides the Joker.
Oh, yeah. You'd mentioned this to me, yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, for Superman, and like, no one seems to know like any of his villains, despite him like being.
Despite him being the face of DC for how many years?
Like since 1938, so
Yeah.
like 83 years. Like, and it's not even like there are some things that just aren't up for like opinion or anything. Like Superman is the definitive superhero. And
Yeah.
it's not even just because like he was the first superhero ever created.
Which he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I think Solomon Kane takes that crown.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count like Greek like champion heroes, you know,
Oh yeah.
like
Well, I always
like Perseus
at
and
that
stuff, Hercules.
You have to define what makes a hero and what makes a superhero. In my mind, Perseus and Hercules are heroes, but they're not super heroes. There's like a balance, and you have to define it for yourself.
Yeah.
But like Superman is created to be the perfect antithesis. Everyone point at this person. This is a superhero, and you don't even need to like get that from me. You can basically go to like any like superhero parody show or maybe a parody episode, and there's always at least like someone pointing at a diagram that clearly is supposed to be Superman. Like, yes, this is Superman. Like that bald-faced figure doing that like pose with their fist on their hips and the cape flowing in the wind. Like, that's Superman.
Yeah.
Um,
And now
not
they're trying to
Batman.
make Superman all grimdark like he's Batman.
Exactly. And it's like, why are you doing that? That's not who Superman is. But like, it just sucks because like Superman is like one of the most, if arguably not the most important character to our culture as a whole, and yet no one seems to really. I don't want to say care about him.
Oh, people don't care.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, yeah. No, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, no, people don't care.
Yeah.
I actually I got into like a discussion about that with a friend of mine recently.
We'll still be after him tomorrow, and the day after that. Me, my crew, and everyone.
And I think
He'll
it's a
run at your
mixture
house.
of like just like
Eventually he'll slip up,
not just the
and
fans but the
that guy can
industry.
never get away
Like
with
at one point
Not unless
Superman
the
was
big guys
the,
give up.
like I said, the greatest superhero of all time because he was created in a time when the world needed heroes like him.
Yeah.
Of course, now times have changed, and I've been told by so many people that they find it hard to enjoy Superman. You one of them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
It,
Um,
it's but I understand the importance of Superman.
yeah, no, anyone can acknowledge the
Yeah.
importance.
It's but I don't like I just I don't like a character who can just automatically get as much strength as he needs without putting in any effort or work. Like that's the one reason I like Goku more than Superman is because he trained his entire life to be as strong as he is.
Exactly, and I completely understand that, and it's completely respectable reason. Like, I grew up on Goku.
Yeah.
Like, I was a Dragon Ball Z fan before I was a Superman fan, and like I can acknowledge, like, yeah, Goku's story is much more endearing, and it's admittedly much more easier to write for.
Yeah.
Because I think another thing that stands out is like Goku lives in a world full of strong fighters who can rival him at any given second. Like Vegeta is like, well, Vegeta already just on his basis rivals Goku, but if he trains even stronger, just to get a bit stronger, there's always the chance that Vegeta can actually defeat Goku.
Mm-hmm. And it's also not unbelievable to assume that there is somebody else out there who's been training his whole life and is just as powerful as Goku at any given moment.
Oh, definitely.
You know.
And that's what makes Dragon Ball Z so endearing, especially now they're doing the multiverse. So now, like, if Goku becomes the strongest being in his universe, well, tough luck. There's like 7 other universes. I don't know how many universes they have in there, actually.
There's 12.
12, yeah. So there's like 11 other universes full of strong fighters that could like completely come out of nowhere and decimate Goku. And that's
Yeah.
what's great about it. But Superman, his whole thing is that like he's a god living in a world of humans. And granted, you can make some interesting stories out of that. But it is not going to be the same story as Goku.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so much I want to say about this topic, but like, hold on, I'm trying to think back to that conversation I was having with my friend. So like, whenever somebody tells me they don't enjoy Superman, the like most common things I hear is, "Oh, he's too powerful and he's not really relatable." And
Yeah.
I think like that's not just fans. I feel like that's the industry as well. It's super hard to write a story with genuine conflict around a character who is supposed to be invulnerable and almost invincible. So if fans aren't enjoying Superman and writers find it hard to write stories with him, it makes sense why there's more focus on characters like Batman, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, and all characters because fans love them. They're fun to write for, and it's easier than making a movie about Superman.
Yeah. You know, every time. Here's another. Like, every Superman villain uses kryptonite to fight him.
I am
Except
so
for
glad you
Zod.
brought that- Yeah. Well, no, I'm so glad you brought that up because that brings me to my next point that I wanted to talk about. Because like
It's like they have to weaken him to make it a viable enemy. You know, like
exactly.
like it's like, well, maybe you made your character too strong.
Yeah. Well, like here's the thing. So like again, this whole conversation started because I was seeing if people could recognize other Superman villains aside from Lex Luthor, who's obviously the most popular one.
Yeah.
And like I cannot tell you.
And-
You want to know what the
Have you ever like read any of the early Superman comics?
I read a few of them.
So
yeah.
Lex Luthor used to be a ginger mad scientist,
Yep.
and then they turned him into Kingpin
Yep.
after Kingpin came out.
So like, but like, I'm not even joking. I asked a lot of people, just, well, like friends of mine, friends who are into DC, friends who aren't into DC, friends who know almost nothing about superheroes. You want to know what the most common answer to name one Superman villain that isn't Lex Luthor is? Batman. I shit you not. The biggest answer I get. to the
Technically,
question
I
is
guess
always-
they're not wrong. I mean, how many 5 million times have we seen them fight each other?
How many 5 million times? 5 million times? Actually, I think somebody once counted. I think it was like 7.
Like, I feel like every day of the week they find some excuse to make Batman and Superman fight each other because this fight, this two-man fight totally hasn't gotten old and stale yet. We need to keep them fighting. They totally can't just, you know, be friends on the same team. No, we have to make them fight.
Which is stupid because you miss out like some of the greatest dynamic between Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's the thing. So like I was thinking like, okay, why aren't Superman's villains like as recognizable as like say Batman or Spider-Man's? So like the answer I ended up coming to was that like, you know, with Superman being as powerful as he is, it makes it so much harder to come up with like more diverse and outstanding villains, and this ends up resulting in like, you know, mediocre and forgettable villains. Like I can basically take all of Superman's villains and categorize them into like 4, well, I can put them into 4 categories.
Yeah.
So you have like Cyborg Superman, Bizarro, General Zod, and even Metallo to some extent. And they all just fall into the category of, oh, they're Superman, but they're evil.
Yeah.
And then you have Lex Luthor, Brainiac.
Might as well throw
Toyman.
Red Superman in there too because he's a commie.
Oh yeah. So Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Toyman, and I guess kind of Mr. Mxyzptlk. They're all just brain is more powerful than brawn.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, we can't be as powerful as you, so we'll be smarter than you.
Which, granted, isn't hard to do.
Yeah. And then you have Lobo, Mongul, and Doomsday. Or as
God, I
like to
completely
call them,
forgot that Lobo was a thing.
Yep. Yep, Lobo's a thing. And you have Lobo, Mongul, and Doomsday, or as I like to call them, the fuck it, let's just make the Hulk category. And then you have the last one, which is like Parasite, Silver Banshee, Livewire, and Volcana, and they're all just generic superpowers. Like, you know, Silver Banshee, she screams really loud. Livewire, she has electricity powers, and these all just kind of hurt Superman, despite the fact that you see him get struck by lightning regularly and it doesn't affect him. But because it's coming from a human being, it somehow works.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no. I get why you like Superman. It's just, you know, there are interesting stories to tell there. You know, like, I don't want to say that he's, you know, not a good character, because I mean they wrote good stories with him for, you know, 60 years. You know, I just feel the last 40 years haven't been all that great to him. But
Yeah. No.
but like, you know, I think there's a lot you could do with Superman. It's just, I mean, it's the same problem DC has had with every other hero that isn't Batman, though. They keep focusing too much on trying to make them all grim, dark, and serious like Batman, because Batman was so wildly successful and has been for the last 100 years.
I had another friend who posed like a different idea to that, is that like DC has no understanding of what makes their characters great. They essentially, DC is essentially having an identity crisis on all of its superheroes, because it doesn't understand that, like, hey, this is what makes Superman great. This is who Superman is.
The Shazam movie was the first example of a modern DC movie where I'm like, holy crap, they understand what makes this character great.
Exactly, because he's a literal child who became a superhero.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird because, like, because of the New 52, which I guess isn't so New 52 anymore. It's so weird to think about that New 52 is old.
It's like New Super Mario Brothers. The first New Super Mario Brothers came out in 2004.
Not so new anymore. But like, yeah, it's weird because, like, so the original Billy Batson was just like this kid who had great moral values. He was a good kid, with good beliefs, and he was like, you know, a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
He was a mini Superman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also predates Superman.
Yeah. Wait. What?
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the other character, the other Captain Marvel. The Captain Marvel from the 20s that nobody remembers because it predates both Marvel and DC.
I gotta look this up because I don't even know about this. 1920s.
Or maybe I'm thinking of a different character. I don't know. But
I can't find anything on it. Oh well.
But did you know that Captain Marvel, the like Billy Batson Captain Marvel Shazam, wasn't owned by Marvel or DC? It was a third party thing made to compete with Superman.
Yep, I remember, and there was a heated rivalry between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Shazam is way more relatable, despite being very similar.
Yeah. Because he's a child who's excited he got superpowers. He really
And he automatically can beat Superman because what are his powers? Magic. And what's Superman weak to? Magic.
I remember seeing something a while back talking about like how it's not a weakness, it's a liability. And I'm like, okay.
Isn't that still a weakness?
Kinda, yeah. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain the difference to me another time. But
You know you're pathetic when Wonder Woman can literally just tap a lasso on you and you have to fall to your knees.
oh, my- trying to like stay on topic, but also there's so many other things I want to branch off and talk about. But yeah, basically like DC, like from what I understand, just like they don't have a great understanding of what makes all their characters so great.
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like Marvel has the exact opposite problem now, where like they understood what made the characters great, but now they're trying to make everything like interwoven with each other, and it's just bogging down some of these characters to where they're pointless.
yeah, it is kind of hard when you like introduce like, I'd say for like just as an example at the top of my head, say characters like Wanda and Vision. They were introduced in Age of Ultron, with admittedly Vision getting more spotlight than like Quicksilver and Wanda at the time. I say Quicksilver and Wanda, but either Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch or Wanda and Pietro. I don't really care. Anyway, so Quicksilver dies. Doesn't really matter. Wanda was just kind of this character she existed in the Marvel universe. She existed in the Marvel universe. She rarely got her time in the sun. There was that whole thing where Civil War was basically started because of her, and that allowed some time to focus on her.
Yeah.
But then like she disappears for a bit, pops up in Infinity War, and apparently she and Vision are in a relationship, and they're together. And I'm like, okay, when did all of this happen?
Yeah, and I think I've already spoken my mind on MCU, Scarlet Witch, and Vision.
Yeah.
I think I've spoken my mind on Vision in general. I think Vision's a dreadfully boring character.
He's hard to relate to because he's so philosophical.
And, you know, I think there are a few Scarlet Witch comics that I think are pretty good. I just don't like Elizabeth Olsen.
Why is it that you don't like Elizabeth Olsen?
It's the same reason I don't like Scarlett Johansson. It's just, bland stone face and bad accent. Like, every movie, it's those two things for them.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of ScarJo, Black Widow.
Yeah, that movie came out. Don't spoil anything. I'm gonna go see it with a friend.
Do you want to know if it's good or not?
Okay, at least give me that. Is it good or not?
It's trash.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go into it expecting anything decent.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors, and I can almost.
It literally has a Kal-El no moment in it.
Oh my gosh, no. But like, so like, here's the thing. I can almost guarantee this is going to happen, and like, I could say this was going to happen way before I heard the rumors. I guarantee Taskmaster is a woman. So. Like,
Well, they already announced that it was.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then
They tried to make it like a twist in the movie, but like very much is. Like, you know, when they were doing their like promo tour and everything, they were talking with, you know, and they announced it. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be like the twist of the movie. It's. I would have liked them to have done, you know, literally any other villain than Taskmaster.
Yeah.
They could have made Black Widow is usually involved with the Punisher in a lot of stories. You know, they could have easily done it where like Black Widow has taken down like a Russian crime family and made it like a drama crime film. I think that would have been really much better than what they did.
I mean, I can't say much because I don't know.
Yeah, you
exactly
haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never liked ScarJo as Black Widow. She's supposed to be Russian.
Yeah. I just chop it up to she's spent enough time in America to master the American accent and just leave it at that. To quote unquote master the American accent, like you can never master that.
That's making me think of a scene in Stargate now. There's a scene where they accidentally travel back in time, and they land at the same base they're at, but it's the 60s, and the soldier comes in and he asks them in Russian, "Are you Soviet spies?" And the one guy who's a linguist and knows like every language on Earth goes, "Niet." It's like you're in 1960s America. You just spoke Russian to an American soldier. Good going.
Linguist genius.
Oh
my gosh.
That show's great.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I feel
They
bad
put the
because I
movie
feel
on
that-
Netflix finally too. So watch the movie first because the movie predates everything.
Gotcha. So yeah, what have we concluded here today, kiddies? DC is in the middle of an identity crisis.
And Marvel is failing harder and harder each passing day.
I'd be lying if I didn't say. I can't sing. I apologize. Where was I going with that? I was going somewhere. Anyway. I don't remember. Acceleracers, let's talk about that because I feel like that show isn't talked about enough anymore. I say show, it was a series of movies, but it felt like a show.
Well, it got
should've been.
released as like mini-series stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I keep dying on this mission.
But like, yeah, if you want an idea of how dark Acceleracers was, one of the main characters constantly references his time in prison.
It's wild now.
I'm gonna show you what wild is all about.
That's impossible. He said he's gonna be gone for another 3 months.
Oh my god.
Pork
I
chop.
love Pork Chop so much. Like, he literally walks in and, like, Monkey's trying to, like, hey, Pork Chop, you really didn't have to come. And he just lifts Monkey up by his shirt.
Who did this to you? Oh, shoot.
Monkeying around, Pork Chop. Honestly, though, like, the Teku are great in their own right, but my god, the Metal Maniacs.
The Metal Maniacs have the better soundtrack.
They do. They do. I'm sorry.
The best
Oh,
song
you-
in the whole series is when Tano is trying to
Taro
is going through the water round again.
Yes, dude. Oh my god. And like what
Go!
I say about Nolo, that goes double for Taro's time in like Race Against the Clock, I believe is what it's called. His Race Against the Clock.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh
Well,
my
doesn't
God, just
like
that-
Nolo does his thing in the first one, right?
yeah,
And then
does
Taro does it in the second. Is there one in the third one?
I don't. I don't.
Because the
think
fourth
so.
one is Vert in the final race.
Yeah, yeah. Vert is the final. I love that because everyone got a moment. In the first movie, it was Nolo. In the second movie, it was Taro. In the fourth movie, it's Vert. I don't know who's. I don't think there is one in the third one. Because I'm trying to think. What were the races? So, the third one is where the race between Wild and Torque for leader of the Metal Maniacs happens.
Yeah.
And the two races in there are the Pipeline Realm and the Junkyard Realm. Neither of which actually had like characters get like stuck in the realm or like have to like try and beat something big. I think it's because the big thing was that they were focusing on the silencers at the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the movie is called with the sound of silence, or
The speed of
the
silence.
speed of
which
silence.
I
Yeah.
loved it. It was great. I say almost everyone got a moment, but really it was just Nolo, Taro, and Vert, who I will argue were the best.
Which, I mean,
right
Vert
now.
had a moment in Highway 35 as well.
Yeah, and that's his whole character arc, which I really love. Like, that's a character arc I don't see, like, ever be done. Like, Vert joined racing, and then he became the world's greatest racer of all time, only to, like, introduce these new racers, and he spends 3 movies trying to live up to them. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, I'm great. And maybe I'm not so great anymore. Maybe I was just a one-hit wonder. And then he, like, goes through this whole phase where he, like, actually considers giving up racing. It's actually kind of endearing, really.
Yeah, no, those movies are strangely well written for what they are.
I know! They were freaking Hot Wheels movies! Why were they so good? And the music! The freaking music! I always thought that was weird. Like, in the first movie, well, first movie being Highway 35, like, the team names were named after, so the team names were named after the, terrains they were meant to drive in. You had the Weight Rippers, who could float on water.
Yeah.
You had, the Dune Rats, who could drive in deserts. The Wildebeest, the Wild, what were they called? I don't know. You had the Scorchers, who could drive in volcanoes, and then you had the Wildebeest, who could drive in jungles, and then you had, the Street Rats, who could drive in cities. Because you know the 5 elements: water, earth, fire, desert, and then city. But then in the, and then in Acceleracers, it switches. There's a weird switch to where it's no longer about the terrains, it's about the type of music they listen to.
Yeah.
The Teku listen to techno, and then the Metal Maniacs listen to metal. And then the Silencers, they listen to silence.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, Acceleracers is the only series I know where I can actually gawk about the opening credits of all things. Like, in the first movie, in the first movie, this time I'm talking about, the first Acceleracers movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally just, like, Glorum. She's walking towards the screen, and then it shows, like, all the drones cars being made and all that stuff. It's just, like, you know, at the first time, when you're first watching, you have no idea what's going on. That is intense. It really sets you up, and the music sells it, and it's so great. And then the second one, seeing all those racers, like prepare their cars to the, to that soundtrack, which, super great. I can't name a single soundtrack. I guess my least favorite, like, song or type of music would be Finish Line. And even then, I freaking love Finish Line. I just feel it's really repetitive. You know Finish Line?
I think so.
It's the song that plays when Torque and Wild are racing each other. It's like, "Feel sorry
Oh
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
pressure."
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
The new metal song,
Yeah.
the one that sounds straight out of like 2003.
Yep.
Yeah, that song's alright.
Well, yeah, it's alright. I just felt like it got repetitive.
Yeah, oh it does.
Yeah. Because it's just the feel sorry force under the pressure. Feel sorry force under the pressure. It just keeps repeating that line over and over for a good majority of the song. But like, yeah, basically the opening credits they all just really prepare you for the movies, and it's just so great. I love it. Why the heck were the Accelerator movies so good?
No idea. And why are the modern Hot Wheels movies and shows so bad?
So bad. I know, like you had the perfect like example of great television in Acceleracers. Why'd you mess it up? I know times have changed, but they can't have changed that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a preference of me being a ye order 2000s child. Oh my god. Scirocco. I can't talk about Acceleracers and not talk about Scirocco.
I don't think
Scirocco. What?
Scirocco never gets a moment to shine, which is a real shame.
He doesn't, which is so lame.
Yo,
because,
pump
like,
up the bass line.
Yo, pump up the bass line.
Actually, no, he does get a moment to shine. He turns on the bass and kills those mosquito things.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, that was awesome. I will say one of his like, I don't know if this is a shining moment, but I remember one of Scirocco's like key moments in all of Acceleracers is the cliffside realm, where like he's like, where like the, like one of his Nitrox 2 tanks is damaged, and there's a chance that his car might explode, and they're like trying to explain it to him, but his music is too loud,
Yeah.
so they can't hear him.
And
so
then
Kurt
he mutes them too.
Scirocco! Doesn't he know he'll damage his hearing if he plays his music too loud? Yeah, I tried to tell him that once, but he acted like he didn't hear me.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. But like, I just love Kurt's reaction because like, Lonnie tells him that like, Kurt, you gotta get Scirocco to stop. And he's just like, there's only one way to stop Scirocco. And then freaking knocks him off the side of the road.
he basically tries to kill him.
Like, on one hand, it's like, okay, why'd you have to get so drastic with it? But also, it's funny because when you stop and think about it, that can say a lot about Scirocco. Basically, he doesn't stop until he's dead.
Yeah.
Yo, let's pump up the bass line. I remember seeing a comment somewhere that said, like, Scirocco is most likely has social anxiety, which puts a lot of his scenes, like, in context, super hilarious. Like, at the ending of the first Accelerators movie, where, like, he gives Vert a lift back home, back home, back to the base, whatever. There's that funny scene where Vert's just like, hey, thanks for a lift. Yo. And Vert looks at him like, what? And like, when you stop and think about it, like, if Scirocco has social anxiety, that scene makes too much sense. It's just like, hey, thanks for a lift. Oh god, he's thanking me. what do I say? I don't know. Just be yourself. Say
Yeah.
something cool that you would say. Yo.
Yeah, no. I would like, instead of the spinoff we got with Vert, I would have liked a spinoff with Shirako, and they could have called it Shirako's Beats, and it could have been like a music themed show.
Shiraku.
It could have been like a Pimp My Ride thing, actually.
Every
He's like-
episode is named after a musical instrument.
He's like souping up vehicles to have like these super awesome bass boxes in them and stuff.
Yes. That was a whole thing about the Teku cars. When you look at a lot of them, with the exception of like maybe the first ones that came from Highway 35, a lot of them were designed to like have huge bass lines in them. Or not bass lines, what? Hold on. Wubs. They were designed with wubs in them.
Think I'm afraid to die? All that matters to me is killing the man who ruined my life.
What did the doctor do to you, Corporal?
But yeah, like there are so many quotable lines
When the Thresher Moths
from
hit,
accelerators, it's not
my
even
unit was
funny.
wiped out.
What's up?
The Thresher Moths, the
There's
scientists
so
were
many
studying them.
quotes from
They let them hit our
accelerators
unit
that
just
it's
for
not
one.
even funny. Like
Yeah.
so many things there are so quotable.
The scientists were delighted I'd survived.
One of my favorite moments is in the first one where they're like, just don't slow down and you'll stick to the wall, and then Monkey immediately presses on the brake.
And it's funny because you look at him like he's an idiot, but then Porkchop does the exact same thing in the second movie. They're
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh yeah, you have to
drive
keep your
fast."
speed up for the hydroplaning, yeah.
And then he's like, granted, it comes from like you could give Porkchop the scare, like the excuse that like, oh, he's scared of water. Yeah, well, Monkey's scared of heights.
You can't believe Toombs. He doesn't have any proof. I demand a fair trial. Ever had Thresher Moths?
Also, yeah, that's really dark because it's revealed his fear of water comes from the fact that his dad drowned when he was a child.
Yeah.
Those movies were super
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah, he's like, I never took a bath.
So, are you going to kill me or not?
I'm
Yeah.
afraid of water, okay? What do you drink every day?
I can
Beer.
risk it. He'll answer
Straight
for his crimes in
vodka.
court.
Weren't you listening?
No, I can't even drink vodka. It reminds me too much of water.
I don't know what Cerberus is, but they'll never let their operation
Oh
become
my
public.
gosh.
This is the only way. Are you helping me, or are you killing me?
Another thing that like really
What you're
really
saying is true.
irritates me is that it's subtle at times,
Stop.
but there's so many times where they constantly make a correlation between karma and Galorum, and so you think like because there's that scene in with Kurt and Kurt and Karma when they have the droid where Karma goes up to it and it asks Karma like what are her orders, and Kurt
Yeah.
says, oh it's your Galorum. And that's funny because you do look like Galorum from certain angles, and you're thinking like, and then it does that transition to where like Karma looks one direction and it fades into the exact same view of Galorum. And then you're thinking like, oh, okay, that's pretty neat. But then they do it again later on in the Ice Realm, where like Taro passes out, and he has a dream of where he and Karma are like standing on the edge of a cliff, and Karma's like telling him like, hey, you need to use your use your emergency return something.
The EDR, the emergency or whatever, the emergency driver escape thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emergency driver return, I think. EDR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Karma's telling him to use the EDR because he'll never get out, because he'll never get back onto the road. And then he turns around and Karma has suddenly turned into Galorum. And so it's like, okay, are they gonna do something with this? Is Karma like secretly like related to Galorum? Is Karma like the human that Galorum was based off of? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Never do anything.
I think it was just supposed to be that like his past was haunting him and he was seeing things everywhere he looked. And I think it was also them making a joke that it was the exact same character model with a bit of a palette swap.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
What's your opinion on
I don't know. I guess I would have loved to have seen like an explanation be given for that. That like maybe Karma was actually like a clone, a human clone of Galorum or something. I don't know. It could also just be a joke because they're the only two females really in the show aside from Lonnie, who is just taken over from Highway 35.
Yeah. You know, there were so many things in Highway 35 that they just never mention again. Like Highway 35 itself.
Yeah.
They throw in like the street sign. And I think they mention it once in the first movie, and then it just never gets brought up again.
Yeah, because like they immediately drop it, the whole thing about the Highway 35 and the Wheel of Power for whatever is going on with the Accelerchargers and different dimensions that the Accelerons built.
Also, so are the drones on Earth? Or are they in a different realm? Are they in Highway 35? Like, are they in the, are they in, like, Acceleron City or whatever, or?
They are. They're in Hot Wheels City because
Or Hot
at the
Wheels
very
City,
beginning of the first movie, you see them take it over, but it looks so different you can't even recognize it.
Yeah, like,
It took me forever. Like, I had to watch those movies, like, almost 10 times before I realized, like, oh, that's Hot Wheels City.
also, isn't it weird that there's two entrances to Hot Wheel City now?
Oh, extremely weird, and they never explain it. It was for the... Because originally you had to get through the Ice Realm to get to Hot Wheels City. But then, when they exit Hot Wheels City, and then they try to go back into it, they just open another portal into Hot Wheels City. It's just like, okay, well, what? And Hot Wheels City is just...
Also, the Doctor is a huge dick because he could have easily put EDR in Kadim's car and he didn't.
No, and they even address this. Like, Lonnie calls him out for that, and the answer basically given is that, like, he didn't care if they returned unless they had Accelerchargers.
Yeah.
And it's shown countless times throughout all 4 of the movies that Tesla does not care about the drivers. He only cares about the Accelerchargers. Like, he is not a good person.
And I just realized this, dude. The Mortal Kombat games ripped off Acceleracers. So Kadim comes back and he's been like altered by the drones, right? And so now he's like an evil former shadow of himself, right? That's literally like the big plot point of Mortal Kombat X is like all of the people that died in Mortal Kombat 9 have all been brought back to life and are changed by the sorcerer, and so now they're all like evil shadows of their former self.
Honestly, that trait is a trait as old as time itself, honestly, when you stop to think
Yeah,
about
but
it.
it is funny that Acceleracers did it better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry, I can
like,
feel
Mortal
I can feel the fanboys trying to. Oh, I can feel them trying to break down the door already.
Get quick! We need more barricades. But I never got into Mortal Kombat X because, like, I don't know. I got into Mortal Kombat, but I just didn't care enough to continue.
Yeah.
That's a generous.
I don't blame you. I mean, the NetherRealm games are fine, but they're nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
It's same with Injustice. Like, the Injustice games are fine, but they're nothing spectacular. Although I wish we would get something other than evil Superman fighting Batman. The game's main villain in Injustice 2 is Brainiac, and the final fight is Batman versus Superman.
Yep. And depending on the choices you made of like which fighters to choose to go.
Oh,
into
it's only the
combat-
final one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's only if you choose Batman or Superman. That's the only thing that changes the ending.
Okay.
Yeah. Same with Mortal Kombat 11, because Mortal Kombat 11 does the same thing.
Tell me about it.
I mean, it's not a bad concept, but it's also just poorly executed.
Yeah. I mean, I like that they're trying to, like, do, like, a branching story thing in a fighting game and kind of do something with the fighting game genre. But,
Yeah.
like, if I'm gonna play, like, I don't care about multiple endings in a fighting game unless it's arcade mode where, you know, you just fight 10 fighters with whatever fighter, then you get that fighter's ending. You know,
Yeah.
I don't. Which, by the way, the modern Mortal Kombat games are the only ones that do that still.
Does Injustice do it as well?
Injustice 2 doesn't. Injustice 2 doesn't even have an arcade mode, if I remember right.
I could have sworn it did. Hold on.
It has like a challenge mode.
Well, like, at the very least, I'm glad they tried.
Is there some questions?
Because, like, you gotta try and fail in order for things to get done.
Yeah.
In order to do something new.
And I think we're I think we're a year away from announcement of Mortal Kombat 12 or possibly Injustice 3.
Yeah. I'm not like most gamers. I look into the story.
Dude, what I hate is when people are like, oh, story doesn't matter in a fighting game. It's like, then why does every fighting game have a story? If story doesn't matter in a fighting game, then why do these games have stories? And why were the stories better before they were focusing on the story?
Yeah.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends.
It's balanced. It really is balanced. That needs. You need great gameplay with a great story.
Yeah. Or you just need at least average on both at the very least. You know?
God of War, the newest one.
Yeah.
You thought that was a good game too, right? I thought it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the older ones more. I feel people are praising the story in that game, not realizing how in-depth the story actually was in the old games.
It really was. Well, I think, like, for a lot of people, this is their introduction to God of War.
Yeah.
Like, this was their first God of War game. I do think there are people who acknowledge, like, there is so much in-depth story in the original. Like, how many were there? 6 games?
There was only 4 before that one. Actually, no, there was 6 because of the PSP games.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
hold on. You had 1, 2, 3, Ascension,
Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus.
Chains of Olympus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had, like, 6 games, and then you had God of War. God of 4, as I like to call it.
Yeah, and now the new one's called God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, which I'm actually surprised they're, like, doing Ragnarok so early.
Yeah. Well, you know what the theory has been, because the world serpent has the tattoo over his eye and has the beard. People are like, "Oh, the world serpent is Kratos." I don't want to know the ramifications of Kratos' son, who was confirmed to be Loki at the end of that game, to have given birth to his father.
His own father. It's a cycle. The father becomes the son, and the son the father. Oh my gosh. And that's a quote from Jor-El.
Actually, speaking of Loki giving birth to the world serpent, so the show Ragnarok on Netflix, it's like one of the 2 shows on Netflix I actually like. In season 2, Loki gives birth to the world serpent and keeps it in a little like old aquarium under his bed. As it's growing, and then it gets too big, so he puts it out into the wild.
And then it got bigger and
he puts it into the lake in their town, and their town is supposedly the town that Thor fought Ragnarok at. And the main character is the reincarnation of Thor, and like they've already introduced Odin and Freya and Tyr. And they're actually doing Norse mythology. Like, they're actually, like, exploring Norse mythology in the show, because the characters, like, they don't have the memories and, like, the thoughts of the people, but they have the abilities. And so they're, like, learning about themselves by reading Norse mythology. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the show is that it's got this really stupid, like, climate change pollution story. But honestly, that part of the story just isn't important, really. It just gets pushed to the side most of the time.
How does that fit in?
So the frost giants are polluting the earth. They're posing as humans, and they're running a big corporation, and they're polluting the earth. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up all the God of War games, and I mean, like, whoa. So like I looked up all the God of War games, and I keep seeing this thing like, hold on, God of War Betrayal. What the hell is that?
Oh, that was a stupid Java phone game. Like, you know, I'm talking like old, like Razor flip phone games.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a it takes place at the same time as Ghost of Sparta.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
believe I never heard of this one.
but no, it's like people are like, "Oh, Kratos is now a dad." Calliope?
Yeah,
Are we just
I
gonna
mean, like,
ignore the
yeah,
fact that he murdered his wife and child because he was so blinded by rage?
exactly. And that's the thing that ticks me off. Like, okay, I shouldn't say it ticks me off, because I completely understand why they did it. And, like, if they did do it, there's a good chance it wouldn't have worked in. I'm just kind of disappointed that not once did Kratos acknowledge Calliope.
No, he does.
He does?
Yeah.
When?
Dude, there's a whole section in God of War 1 where you have to protect your family from clones of Kratos, and the way that you give them health is you hug them. And then in Ghost of Sparta, Persephone is lulling all of the gods to sleep so that she can kill them all and take control. And so you go and stop her, and you enter the afterlife, and you enter like basically their heaven, the Elysium Fields, I think. And Calliope is there, and Kratos decides he's not going to fight and he wants to stay with his daughter. And then he realizes that if he stays, the entire world is doomed. So he has to pull his daughter off of him so he can leave.
I remember.
Like,
I played the games.
like saying Kratos doesn't acknowledge his daughter.
I'm talking about God of War 4.
Oh, well, you know what that is? That's them wanting to focus on Atreyu.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, I get why they didn't do it, but I am kind of disappointed why. Like,
Yeah.
I am kind of disappointed that they didn't, because, like, it's so weird for him to, like, I guess...
Maybe they'll
part of
mention it in the next one.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know,
That's
when
what I'm
Atreyu's a bit older and stuff, and Kratos can be like, oh yeah, I don't know why I'm saying Atreyu, because never-ending story. but no, like, when he's a bit older, Kratos can be like, you had a sister once, son.
I had a sister. Girl! Boy, let me tell you about your sister. Girl!
The last thing I remember of your sister was when I cut off her head.
I killed my father. Oh. That sucks.
30 minutes later, Atreus is running a stake through Kratos' heart.
Cycle ends here. Oh! Okay, maybe the cycle lasts a bit longer. Oh my gosh. Does that mean Atreus is gonna slay the world serpent?
We'll talk later, Williams.
Looking forward to it.
No, the world serpent is gonna slay Atreus. That's how that goes.
So long, Chris.
But it is a great story. It's
Shepard, what can I do?
what was I talking about? God of War, great game.
Yeah.
I do.
Only
think they
way I'm
expand-
playing the next game, though, is if it comes out on PC.
Yeah.
I'm not buying a PS5.
God, I hope it doesn't come out on the PS5.
It's a Sony exclusive.
No.
It always
Well,
has
no, I
been. Since when has any God of War came out on an Xbox?
Well, no, I was hoping it would come out on the PS4, kind of like Spider-Man Miles
Oh
Morales
no,
did.
it's coming out in like 2 years. It's not gonna have a PS4 release.
Well, at least then PS5 will actually have a good game.
Ugh, doubtful.
Okay, that's. I don't know.
You know how
I'm
many?
even-
You know how many like developers and studios have fled Sony in the last 2 years?
Do
A
not
lot. It's been called the Great Exodus.
know. Oh.
Like a bunch of like members of Naughty Dog all left. Like a
I
huge
heard about
portions.
No, I heard about this,
People from
and that-
Santa Monica, the people that make God of War, have left. Like people that have been there since God of War 1 have left. You know, a bunch of Japanese people, like studios, just straight up just quit and shut down. Said we're not doing this anymore because Sony is so restrictive and is like choking them all and being like, no, you have to do what we tell you. You can't make the game you want to make. The Days Gone people, they're getting basically a boot to the head and being told, no, you can't make a Days Gone sequel. You're gonna make whatever game we tell you to make.
Yeah.
You know, Sony has started the death crawl.
It's
And
bad.
they're now putting games that were exclusive to Sony consoles on PC now. You know, Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn are now on PC. You can buy them on Steam and everything. they're doing a deal with the Epic Games Store to release more games on PC. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you literally just signed your expiration date with making a deal with the Epic Games Store. Ugh. Meanwhile, Microsoft over here, being a Chad, you know, they've bought out everybody. They spent $14 billion acquiring Bethesda and ZeniMax. So they now own Elder Scrolls, they own Fallout, they own Starfield, which is the new thing. Like, they own Obsidian now, and Obsidian, you know, they get Outer Worlds and Pillars of Eternity and you know, all those games. And they own In Exile, which means they now have Wasteland and like all the old Interplay games. Like, Microsoft just went and was like, we'll just buy you. And then next month, you know, once we get a couple more paychecks going, we'll go ahead and buy out all of them. They own Platinum Games now. They own everyone. And all their games are now coming to PC. Like, they've already announced, like, all their exclusive titles will be on PC from now on. So all the new Halos, all the new Gears of War, all of them are on PC.
The gaming industry is just falling apart.
Yeah. If anything, Microsoft is making sure that it sticks around.
Yeah.
You know, because they're, you know, with Game Pass, all right, with Xbox Game Pass, if you buy a game on the Xbox Series X or the Xbox One, and it's also available on PC, you don't have to buy the game again. You own the game on PC as well. And, you know, with Game Pass, it's $15 a month, right? For Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you Game Pass on Xbox and PC. And it gives you Xbox Gold on Xbox. So, like, for $15, you're getting access to all of all of these, like, hundreds of games. You get every Microsoft exclusive game with Game Pass. So you get every Halo, you get every Gears of War, and now you get, like, Doom and Doom Eternal and Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and you get everything.
Everything.
You get Minecraft because Microsoft owns Mojang.
Yep, I am aware of that. And I started playing Minecraft again. It is not the same game I remember playing.
You can still play the Java edition, which is like the old, like,
Yeah.
the real Minecraft. The Minecraft that you don't have to pay to mod.
Yeah.
God, that's so stupid.
Yeah, I really hate that. That was the dumbest
I heard
thing.
about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
Right.
Oh man.
How long has this stream been going for?
Hour and a half.
Alright, cool. One more hour to go. No. We've talked about God of War, accelerators. Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, I recently finished my binge of the original Batman the Animated Series.
Wait, what's up?
I finished my binge of the original Batman the Animated Series. I say the original as to exclude the you know, the season where they, like, changed the art.
Oh, the art style change, the season 5.
Yeah. I think it's considered season 4 or season 3. I don't know.
I think it was season 5. Because it's whatever, it's season 4 or 5, because it's whatever season they made the sky red.
Yeah, it's that season. So
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't the sky always red? Because it's red in the intro. Well, it's never red in the series, though.
Yeah. It was when they switched from hand-drawn animation to, like, Flash sort of animation.
Superman.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Batman had crossed over with Superman and World's Finest, and then that was enough incentive for, like, we need to bring this back. Which, I gotta say, so I finished Batman the Animated Series. I'm just gonna call it that. So...
Yeah.
That's what...
Are you gonna watch the Superman animated
I finished
series?
that series? And I love it to pieces. Yep,
Yeah.
I already started. I finished the first 13 episodes.
Are you gonna watch
gotta
the
say,
Justice League show?
Yep.
Did they
And I'm
do any
probably
other
gonna
shows
watch-
in that continuity?
They did. So, so they had Batman the Animated Series, and then the follow-up, they had Superman the Animated Series, and then
I guess
Justice
Batman
League,
Beyond
Justice
is in the
League
same
Unlimited.
continuity.
Batman Beyond, yes. Batman Beyond, and then Static Shock.
Wait, Static Shock is in that same continuity?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
They need to bring my boy Static Shock back.
Ooh, they really do.
Dude, they want to do their
Honestly,
like
what-
race bait politics stuff. Use Static Shock, man. Bring him into one of the movies.
He was created for that.
Yeah.
Okay, did you hear? So apparently, so there is a comic. They rebooted Static Shock, or Static as the hero is just. I always want to say Static Shock. That's the TV show.
Yeah.
Static is the hero. So, so they rebooted Static and his comic, and so his origin story is that he became Static at a Black Lives Matter protest. And honestly, like, and people have been getting so mad about that because, like, oh, it's too political. Did you not read the original Static Shock?
Yeah.
Static, darn it. Like, Static was made from protest alone. And so, like, Static is a very political hero and very politics-based character. Like, so honestly, like, why is no one doing him? Why isn't Static getting, like...
Ooh. Ooh, I just looked at my Twitter. Ooh, Razor is about to drop his second novel.
Nice.
Can't wait. And he's throwing in a bunch of lore stuff into the back of the book for like his lore for like his world and stuff. Can't wait. That first one was really good. I might add a link in the description to pick up a copy of The Long Moonlight. Because it's a good book.
Way to subtle advertise.
It's the
You're not
only
sponsored.
it's the only like sort of like fantasy thing I have read that's modern. It's the in like 10 years, it's like the only thing I've really read that's modern. Like, I've read the Elric books, but I mean, the first one of those came out in the late 60s, you know, like.
Hold on. Oh, real quick, going back to that DC, what's it called? The Timverse? I think it's the Timverse. Gotham Girls. So there was this web series.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, you
just-
mentioned this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't even know about it until you had mentioned it.
Yep. I remember I had watched it as a kid because you can get all 30 episodes on YouTube, which is nice. And it's not something to be taken too seriously. It is just like,
Commander, urgent message from
so
Alliance
it
Command
follows
coming in.
Poison Ivy,
patch it for
Catwoman, and Harley Quinn, Batgirl, and Zatanna is even in a few episodes. So essentially, the most important girls in Gotham. Hence, Gotham Girls.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the Gotham Sirens, which is what Poison Ivy, Harley, and Catwoman are usually called. But yeah, it follows them and their misadventures of like performing some very strange, just like
How many
it's
casualties so
made
far?
in good fun. It's all for a laugh, and it's just amusing. And I think it's really, I think it's a good show to enjoy. So yeah, that takes place in the same universe.
Oh. Oh.
That's where you come in. We need you to fight your way through the training ground to the garage door.
Oh shoot. Headphone just fell out.
Don't worry,
The mission, I'm getting an assignment from the Admiral here. In this mission, there's a rogue VI on Earth's moon that killed basically everyone on the base, right? You find out, so in Mass Effect 2, you get an AI. A VI is a virtual intelligence, AI is artificial intelligence. A virtual intelligence has no awareness or anything. It's just like it's basically like Siri, you know? But you know, the VI on the moon is becoming more self-aware, and it is turning into an AI, and so you need to go and shut it down. You find in Mass Effect 2 you get an AI called EDI that that like helps run things on the ship, and then you find out in Mass Effect 3 that EDI was the rogue AI on the moon.
Well done.
Yeah.
That is a great. That's actually a really great, like.
That's a great way to take something and expand on it. You know?
Yes.
And it wasn't like they needed to plan that. Like, it doesn't feel forced. You know, it's just like a little like tidbit to if you played that mission, because you don't need to play the mission. You can completely skip the mission if you want.
Nice.
I think there is a punishment that happens if you don't do it though, like something on your war assets in 3. God, I just finished 3 the other day, or like last week. I think I sent my I think I sent a picture into the chat of my time played. That wasn't even the full time played because I hadn't finished the final mission yet, or the cutscenes. When I got out of it, it was like 72 hours.
Dang.
And that's just Mass Effect 3, dude. Mass Effect 1 was 50, and Mass Effect 2, I did 2 playthroughs of Mass Effect 2, so that one was like 100 hours. So, but yeah, no, I'm almost at 300 hours on the Legendary Edition.
Dang. What is love? Baby.
Shrek is love.
Whoa!
Equalizing interior pressure
Shrek is
with
life.
exterior atmosphere.
You know, there are kids growing up who have no idea what that
Commanding
is.
officer
I know.
Exo Presley
That's
has
actually
death.
for the best. Because, I mean, I was a kid, I don't even think I should have known what it was.
Admiral Mikhailovich, the fucking douchebag.
Admiral, I'm on urgent business with the Citadel. Is there something you need?
Let's get one thing clear, Shepard. You might be a specter to the aliens, but to me, you're just another junior officer. Be respectful. I command the 63rd Scout Flotilla. You and the Normandy were slated for my unit after shakedown. When the Council got their paws, claws, tentacles, whatever, they got them on our ship and you.
I wasn't keen on it either, but there are advantages to being above the law.
Don't let the title go to your head. No one's above the law. I don't begrudge the politician's decision to throw you to the council. It's an opportunity. I do begrudge this over-designed piece of tin.
I love being a dick to this guy.
Time's over.
Exactly. the same price, we could have had a heavy cruiser. But no, we had to make nice to the Turians, throw money at a co-developed boondoggle. I'm here to make an inspection, Commander. Normandy is an Alliance warship. I intend to see she's up to snuff.
There's no outcome.
Normandy is an Alliance warship, but she's on loan to the Citadel. That means she's not in your chain of command.
I believe there's something wrong with my ears. Did you just contradict me?
Oh,
The ship is council property right now. So
the Zeta
Link,
Project,
please clear the game.
which it was
Have it your way.
an expansion
Don't
off
expect
of
me to file
Batman
a report
Beyond.
on this.
Wait, what's up?
The Zeta Project that takes place in the DC animated universe.
I don't think I've heard of that.
I wouldn't be surprised. It only lasted, if I remember correctly, it only lasted 12 or 13 episodes and wasn't really popular.
Oh,
in
so
one of
what
the
Batwoman should have been?
Ah, yes. Precisely. But like essentially what it was, in one of the episodes, Batman Beyond, or Terry McGinnis, he ends up like finding this robot that is actually a good robot, but people wanted to use it for evil, so he helps it break free of its controller so it can go on to live its life and find purpose in its life.
Hmm.
And then it ends up meeting this girl, and they become like a crime-fighting duo. And
Oh,
also, apparently, there was a web series about Lobo that took place in this universe. I've never heard of this.
huh. I didn't know there was a show with Lobo either.
Well, it's not a show; it's a web series.
Oh, web series. Oh, what a. And I mean, a web series is a kind of show.
Yeah. Oh, it has its own completely. It had 14 episodes. Lobo was a web series appropriately starring Lobo. The web series had the same over-the-top violence and irreverence to social mores as the Lobo comics. The web series took place in space, far away from Earth and any other superhero characters. The Lobo web series was available at www.loboonline.com. That site has since been discontinued. Well, what the heck? How are you supposed to watch
Here's your
it then?
shipment, Jellic.
Excellent.
Hmm.
This is everything I need. Maybe more than I need. Here, Commander, take this. I won't need it. I'll grab some paper for you.
You know what? You know what I would like? I would like. I'd like the Shadow to get a chance at an animated series.
Yeah.
You know, give the character that Batman straight up stole from, you know, something to do.
Actually, while on that subject, whatever happened to Zorro?
You know, it's funny you mentioned Zorro because Zorro is from the same era as the Shadow. So the same thing that happened to the Shadow is what happened to Zorro. It hit the public domain and then everybody ignored it. And then,
Hit
you know,
public domain?
yeah, Zorro's public domain.
Yeah.
You know, same with Solomon Kane. You know, they hit the public. You know, these stories hit the public domain, and then the only thing that gets done with them is a shoddily made movie, and maybe every once in a blue moon you get like a comic or a book. You know, and or a compilation. You know, you don't really get anything new with them, and they just sort of fade away. Except for the people who are interested in it.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, I mean, it was made in the... Zorro was made in the 1920s.
Oh, before.
Mm-hmm.
Way, but like the first Zorro pulp was in like 1910. Same with the Shadow, and then Solomon Kane started in like the 1890s. Like, Solomon Kane's really old, and he gets ignored way too much, considering Solomon Kane inspired Superman pretty heavily in like Superman's like early days, you know, before Superman could fly. He was heavily inspired by Solomon Kane. Superman used to lobotomize his villains, which is straight up taken from Solomon Kane.
Been seen in Al Jalali, Westerland News. Would you answer a few questions for our viewers?
What do you want to know?
So how long until we get a Solomon Kane versus Zorro
Want to get
movie?
a sense of how you'll do
Dude. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work.
trying to get the respect of the galactic community for 26 years. With that in mind, what
You could maybe do a Shadow versus Zorro. But, I mean, Solomon Kane, you know, he's a vampire lord who's controlled by spirits to do good. Like, I don't think that would work. Him fighting Zorro.
We all know it should have happened years ago. I hope the council realizes that we won't sit at the kids' table.
Zorro versus the Shadow.
some believe that without firm action
Yeah.
on our
That
part,
actually sounds like it'd
council
be a
will
pretty
continue to treat
interesting.
us like poor relations.
Yeah.
Have you encountered any situations where
Better
the
than
state
Adam
has
West Batman
placed
versus
its
the
needs
Green
before
Hornet.
the needs of Earth?
Did you say Batman versus the Green Hornet?
Yes.
Oh man. Speaking of characters Batman stole from, dude, you straight up shafted shit from the Green Hornet so hard as well. Dude, it's funny, like, Batman, like, stole so many, like, villains and stories from the Shadow and Green Hornet and even Zorro. And then, like, it eclipses their popularity, and then everybody just ignores the fact that they stole from... You know, actually, we're seeing a modern version of this happening right now with The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
The Witcher stole from Elric. Like, literally.
yeah.
It stole the character, it stole the main theme of the story, it stole, like, side plots, like, it stole everything. And now The Witcher is more popular than Elric right now, and so everybody's just like, oh, but nobody read that, so it doesn't matter. It's like, no, that was one of the best-selling, like, fantasy series of all time that only got outsold by Lord of the Rings and The Witcher. Yeah, like, you can't... Not even Harry Potter outsold Elric. And Harry Potter was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, to be like, oh, nobody read Elric, so it doesn't matter that The Witcher ripped it off. It's like, oh, tons of people read Elric.
Yeah.
Tons of people are still reading Elric, and Elric's not in public domain. Like, the guy who created Elric still has creative control over Elric, and he's still releasing new stuff, and is
Yeah, so
still
why-
licensing out his property. Ugh. What's up?
So, why hasn't he sued? Is my question.
So he threatened Sapkowski with papers. And the Polish government stepped in and said, we don't have to uphold your copyright here.
What?
Yeah. Because at this point, The Witcher is a Polish icon at this point. So they're gonna do anything in their power to protect it, because that's like the only thing they have that's making them money, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And it's like, I don't, okay, like the people who just read The Witcher, right, and have never heard of Elric, right, it's like, I don't care, right? It's like, you aren't aware of it, you know, so I can't blame you. And there's a lot of those people. But then there are people who try to defend the blatant plagiarism and try to act like it's not there. It's like you're the reason that, you know, that so many stories get bad is because, or like not bad, but like it's the reason why this plagiarism gets so bad and blatant is because you're letting them get away with it, and they keep doing it, and they start stealing from other things. Warhammer, you know, like dude, Warhammer stole from like every fantasy like universe, and then you know what they did when they ran out of things to steal from in fantasy?
what?
They went to space and stole from science fiction.
I knew it.
Oh, it's so funny. But I will give Warhammer this though, like Warhammer wears the stuff that it stole on its sleeve and straight up says, hey, you know, we took bits and pieces from everything, you know, and you know, we read a lot of this stuff, and you know, we really liked it, so we incorporated it into our own thing. It's like, okay, thank you. You at least acknowledge you stole some shit.
Well, hold on. At what point is it stealing? At what point is it taking a inspiration?
When you're straight up ripping it off. Like, okay, so Elric is the first fantasy character to be called the White Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, he is the first fantasy character to be called the White Wolf. And what's The Witcher called? Like, what's Geralt of Rivia called? He's called the White Wolf. Alright, they both have pale, ghostly, like, almost corpse-like skin. Right? They both have long, flowing white hair. They both wield swords and fight monsters as mercenaries. They both travel along with a bard, because the bard is writing a story on them and figures that, hey, maybe going on an adventure with them will, you know, give me some ideas for my story. You know, they both have a panache for raven-haired sirens. You know, like, it's at it, you know, they both, like, both Elric and Witcher, the main tenets of their, like, the main theme is chaos and order.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it is so blatant and obvious that it's plagiarized. And here's the thing, Andrzej Sapkowski translated Elric and Melniboné in 1985, 2 years before the first Witcher novel came out. And people try to say, and he tries to say that he had never even heard of it, even though his name is literally on the translation into Polish.
Wow.
And he's like, and people are like, oh, but the book wasn't there because the Iron Wall, you know, the Soviets had control. It's like, no. They literally had him translate fantasy books into Polish took out things that, you know, the Communist Party didn't agree with. So he read the uncensored versions of the books because he knew English. So to say that he couldn't have at least been inspired by Elric is such a huge fallacy. Like,
You good, man?
I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, even I've heard of upsets me to such a great degree.
It just makes no sense to defend the man. It's like, okay, you liked The Witcher, fine, pick up Elric.
Because it's like The Witcher, you might like it.
It's like, read Elric. It's The Witcher, but before. And here's the thing that's great about Elric. This is the one thing Sapkowski didn't rip off, is that Elric is an eternal champion, right? So when he dies, he gets reincarnated into somebody else and becomes an eternal champion again. And it happens over and over, right? For all time. But he doesn't retain memories. He just it just, what happens is something tragic happens and he ends up having to go on an adventure to save wherever he is. And Moorcock introduces a dimensional rift, and he's able to interact, like Elric is able to interact with all the different incarnations of the Eternal Champion. And so, like, you can have an Elric story in space where he's fighting aliens on some far-off world with laser guns, or you can have an Elric story where, you know, the most advanced thing that man has is a wheel. You know, like you can put Elric anywhere in time, anywhere in space, and it still be Elric. Which is one of the most genius things Michael Moorcock ever did. It's literally the first, like, multiverse thing in media.
Yeah.
Like, it predates all of the DC and Marvel, like, multiverse stuff. Like, you ever wonder where Marvel and DC got the idea for that? It was Elric.
Did they actually?
Yeah, they really did. Yeah. Like, Elric was such an influential series that to say that The Witcher wasn't at least inspired is so stupid and flawed. Elder Scrolls was inspired by Elric.
I don't doubt that. I really don't doubt that.
George R.R. Martin, right? The writer of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
He puts references to Elric in the books, and they put references to Elric in the show. Like, and I mean, he's friends with Michael Moorcock, who wrote Elric. So, I mean, like, I think that's like a friendly reference thing that they're doing, you know? And Michael Moorcock, you know who Michael Moorcock met? Tolkien. He met Tolkien, the writer of Lord of the Rings and stuff. And he said Tolkien was an overhyped hack. And it's like, you know, if anybody can say that, it's the man who actually met him. But I think it's funny, like, because the very first appearance of Elric was in 1961, right? This is only a few years after Lord of the Rings. You know, we're only, you know, like fantasy, like generic fantasy is like just starting to become a thing, right? You know, we have Conan, like Conan is just starting, right? And Michael Moorcock's like, you know what? I'm gonna subvert all this. It's like we hadn't even established anything yet, and Moorcock is like, all right, I'm gonna make my hero really scrawny and pale and have to use chemicals to get strength. And now what do you see everywhere? You see a bunch of like scrawny and pale like elves and stuff, like that use magic. Oh.
One thing I love is like there's a Ben 10 episode, original 2005 Ben 10.
Yeah.
Where like so Ben goes to this theme park to meet it's a Hollywood theme park to meet his prized hero, Kangaroo Commando. And then suddenly, wouldn't you know it, Kangaroo Commando goes around doing all these horrible things, and so Ben's like, no, there's no way my child. It is still he is a child. No way, my hero would do this. And so he like goes to like try and figure it out, and then they realize it's Kangaroo Commando's cousin who reveals.
Just punched a woman on live television on Mass
Make
Effect.
sure everyone in the Alliance sees that. Your career is over.
Just a woman on live television in Mass Effect. It was a reporter. Oh man, I love this game.
Show me what well, I heard about that, but I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, just I'll open the rare stock.
No, as you were saying though.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. So like they realize that like it's actually Kangaroo Commando's cousin, and when they ask him why he did it, it's because some guy ripped off his idea. To which Ben responds, "Can't anyone come up with anything original in Hollywood these days?" That line was said in 2005, and I still listen to it and think, huh.
Yeah. Okay. I've got to sell off a bunch of this junk. Ugh. I just realized that rant went on for 20 minutes. I should really sit down and rewatch. I should sit down and rewatch Ben 10 sometime.
And
Cause I mean, I haven't watched it in years.
I already did that with the original. I'm planning on Alien. Yeah. Dude, maybe that's something we could do together. But then again, that's just binge fest, and oh my god, when's the last time you did one of those?
I feel like it's been almost a year. It's been a while.
Yeah. I think the last time we did it was December 5th. Oh my god, yeah. No, it was.
Yeah, so it's been like
December
8
5th.
months.
I believe. That's two-thirds of a year. Oh my gosh. What was the
I don't even remember where we left off or what we were watching or
Yeah, I